In the previous video, I talked about individualism and some of the benefits and cons of being individualistic. So, I want to touch on the benefits and the negatives of collectivism. And so, since living in Japan, it's I've come to see more of a collectivist mindset and being also an Asian American coming from a Korean culture, it's also a bit of a collectivist mindset. And so when I kind of saw that type of collectivism here in Japan, it wasn't too surprising to me because I've kind of seen it before with Korean culture. And so I think there are a lot of benefits to collectivism. I think one thing is you are very respectful and considerate towards others. You do care about others to a certain extent, and you're very mindful of what they do. You care about their well-being and making sure that they're all right. So with the collectivist mindset, a lot of times you put others ahead of yourself. So you would probably be more prone to being less selfish and being very group minded. One thing too that can be helpful is you could be very united in making decisions and going forward on making certain types of moves, or if a decision needs to be made or if a rule needs to be implemented. Usually with the collectivist mindset, people are more likely to fall in line. So it makes it easier to create a lot of order and for things to follow through with procedures and things like that. So that's also where it can be very beneficial. I would say some of the cons that come with collectivism is you kind of lose the individuality, right? You might lose a little bit of freedom because you have to do what the group tells you, and if it's not part of the group, then a lot of times you might be casted out and you might be judged because you stand out. So usually with a group mindset, a collectivist mindset, usually stand people who stand out or people who think outside the box aren't necessarily encouraged. And so in addition to that, you probably lose creativity and innovation because you're probably so focused on just doing what the group wants and sticky with routine and tradition. So that's another thing that can be beneficial and that can hurt you as well, is sticking to tradition. Usually group minded people, collectivists, have tradition and a certain type of procedure that they carry on for a long time and they keep it going as long as they can, and they don't like doing outside of that tradition. So it's good in the sense that you keep things in order, you keep the traditions that you have, and the thing, if something isn't broken, why fix it, right? So it's that type of mindset that you would have about it. But what can be a detriment is you stick with tradition for such a long time that there may be something more innovative or something more efficient that you could implement within the tradition, but it would be very hard for you to change all that tradition and to change the mind of what the group wants and what the group is comfortable with. And so, that's another thing too, is on the negative, like it would be very hard to implement change. It'll take a long time. Not that it's impossible, but you'll have to get everybody on board in order for things to be changed, in order for traditions to be updated or procedures or things like that. So that's where, you really see the pros and cons of implementing, having a collectivist mindset. And so, when you look at it, it has its benefits in just putting the group first, caring for others, looking for the best interest for the team, and being a team player. That's where it could be really beneficial, and you could be very selfless. But at the same time, what is the cost? The cost would probably be the creativity, the innovation, the autonomy, the freedom to do what you want to do, your rights, your liberty to speak your mind, and that not being encouraged. That could be compromised in the midst of having a strong collectivist mindset. So, those would be the benefits and the downfalls of collectivism, and just wanted to briefly touch up on that as I made my first video about individualism. But I do think there's a lot of great things about collectivism that can really be a benefit to society and also to individuals.